this is related to the difficult question I asked earlier about Sheva's screen time being altered. Wesker
Oh yeah.
barely acknowledges Sheva in the script of the final game. He refers to the closest he has come to, referencing Sheva is when he collectively addresses Sheva and Chris as you two. Like, for example, he says something like,
Well, yeah.
won't you two tire of failing in your mission? You've really become quite an inconvenience for me.
That's really good.
Thank you. But he never talks to her
Uh,
directly. His eyes were all set on Chris. Was this a result of Sheva's screen time being altered after the allegations, maybe?
I had never noticed that till you brought it up.
Yeah, he never
Yeah,
talks to her directly. He only
he never
refers
talks
to
to her directly.
them as you two. Never, like, towards the end when they are about to fall off the jet. He says,
Yeah,
I'm taking the two of you with me. So these are the two instances where he acknowledges the presence of Sheva. Until then, he barely sees her.
yeah, I never noticed that until now.
Sheva has a lot of things to say about
And
Wesker, but Wesker doesn't really say much about Sheva.
well, I don't. I mean, now this would be me in 2009, sort of justifying it to say, okay, well, I know what he's done to me. He probably didn't even know who I was because he was just doing whatever he was doing. Like
Yeah,
I've got my eye on the villain, and the villain has got his eye on something else,
on genocide, pretty much.
on genocide. So I don't think I become a concern for him, but it is interesting, like because his beef and his history is with Chris.
Yeah,
So I understand his attention on Chris and Jill. Um, but even for him to go, well, who are you? Would have been interesting, right? So, because obviously I'm there, so or Cheva's there, so uh, it's an interesting point. It never occurred to me. Uh, I just thought it was him being an asshole, I guess.
yeah.
Um,
Wesker has
but
this.
it's
Have you played the original or like watched a playthrough of the original Resident Evil 1 from 1996?
no.
Towards the end, so this is where the beef between or the beef Wesker has against Chris pretty much started. So when Wesker is showing or presenting this big monster, the tyrant, to Chris at gunpoint, Chris, like the macho soldier guy he is, he doesn't even care that Wesker has him at gunpoint. He just laughs at Wesker. He calls him pathetic, pitiful. This is the thing you want to show me. Like, this is your savior and all that. And Wesker's feelings, they actually get hurt. Like, Wesker says, Chris, stop it, stop laughing. So Wesker has been, Wesker has had a huge, pardon me, a hate boner for Chris since then.
Wow.
Yeah,
All of this because of that?
yeah,
Wow. Wow. Yeah, he's got issues.
it's also like Chris and Shao. They have a conversation when they're walking down the tanker, and
Yeah.
Sheva asks him, like, you must have done something to really piss him
Really
off.
piss him off.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Chris says it goes a bit beyond, but he doesn't tell her exactly. I think that's what
Yeah.
he's referring to, because the tyrant ends up killing Wesker, not Chris. So he's even more pissed. Like, this guy had the
Okay,
balls
well
to,
that
yeah, this guy had the balls to laugh at
yeah.
me about my work, and then my work ends up killing me instead of Chris. So he's just, pretty
That
much
probably
wakes up.
been
Wesker pretty much wakes up screaming Chris.
well, I think that also answers the question you asked why Sheva doesn't even come to mind. Although, like I said, it is a little odd, at least at some point, for him to even question who the new person is.
Yeah, the thing is,
But yeah.
he grabs her, beats her up, manhandles her throughout
Oh
the
yeah.
cutscenes, but he does not really
Yeah.
acknowledge her presence much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
I get why he's obsessed on Chris. It's funny.